Hello, this is Professor Angelia. With Works of Hearts, why is everyone so angry? Class. We finished our other class now. This is part one of why is everyone so angry. Um, Never thought I'd make class or teach a class like this, but it became a thing. And so this is the class. Of course, compiled by me of Works of Heart. And here we are. Anyone can become angry. That is easy. But to become angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, I can hear some of y'all quoting along, y'all might know this quote, and in the right way, that is not easy. That's a quote by Aristotle. See, old stuff has value. Some people are prone to violent rages. Some people insist that it helps them to be productive. You know if you're angry all of the time. You may be using it as rocket fuel to make money. Some bosses will tell you up front that they can be a jerk sometimes, and that you have to be tough and thick-skinned to make it with them. But they also promise that it will be worth it because they will work just as hard to make you successful. They can usually find loyal people to stick with them. They expect their employees to hate them. They don't even mind being cussed out. Some people don't even view this kind of behavior as extreme. Some people believe that to make money, you have to be a risk taker, even with your behavior. Some people are always full out, pedal to the metal. Some people have the take it on the chin, macho bravado. They do this because in their eyes, it pays off. If you deliver a big reward for your employees or clients, who cares how angry you are, right? Well, everyone really does. We care. Emotional burnout is the number one reason why people quit. You can't just warn people that you are an angry person and expect that everything will be okay. If you're making if you're making your employees cry, you have a problem. You are ill. If you take pleasure in hurting others, you have a problem. You might think that you are teaching them a lesson, but all you are really doing is causing them emotional stress. Any act you ask them to perform to humiliate them does this. You're not teaching them. You're not building them up. You are tearing them down. Humiliation never achieves the desired results. Most of the time, we don't have to deal with someone who is just over the top mean at work. Donald Trump has been widely touted by employees and business associates as being angry and mean. He chooses to say that he is just emotionally demonstrative. He has built his empire up on profiting from the sensationalism that this out-of-the-norm behavior generates. His show, The Apprentice, was full of anger and meanness. Other reality shows have followed suit and have capitalized on bad behavior. This is not how we are supposed to behave in the real world. We all lose when this becomes an accepted norm. We set up on a pedestal something that should be condemned and corrected. This over-the-top behavior was designed to gain ratings. It's turning the world into one big soap opera. Reality shows encourage fake anger and conflict to gain ratings. I know, because I was on one. Art amplifies reality. The desire for more out-of-control scenes keeps climbing. That's pop culture. It's how we measure and judge our lives. America is having an anger crisis. Watching constant negative reports on the news adds to our own personal problems, and we feel out of control. People behaving badly videos are a big hit. It's big business. Sports figures are getting in the game more and more, having tantrum-like outbursts or committing criminal acts. In the past, people would have shaken their heads in disgust and looked away. We are the parents of the world. What we allow is what will continue. Narcissism is being rewarded instead of reprimanded. Attention-demanding behavior is getting it. We are riveted to adults behaving badly. And these people suffer no serious consequences. They are often rewarded with talk shows, book deals, and guest spots. People who would have been called brats just 30 years ago are being rewarded for their bad behavior. This isn't just a Republican or Democrat issue. Both parties have people behaving badly. They get to share their anger with the world. Crying in defense of your beliefs can shake people's own security in their beliefs. Some make even the smallest bit of news into a big dramatic show. People can even be afraid of being viewed as dispassionate if they don't agree. Unfortunately, non-partiality is becoming unacceptable. Those who love people are outraged by the policies that slight people. The other side says that the overall good should come before specific groups of people. It's too much. They make you pick a side. They make you hate the other side. And it's okay and perfectly acceptable to revel in and show off your hate. And it's okay to spew hate at anyone who agrees with the other side. And it's getting results. Politicians are now actors who must be who they think their people want them to be. Now, it's okay for people to even yell accusations and name call the president. In the past, that would have been dealt with swiftly and harshly by security. People may frown in disapproval, but little else happens. Anyone can say that they let their emotions get the best of them. We all do sometimes. But if that's the case, are they emotionally stable enough to be in a position of authority? especially if after their emotional outburst, their contributions rise and their popularity increases. Anger. It seems so counterintuitive, but it's paying off big for people. Most of us don't like this trend. The lines between entertainment and reality are being blurred. While sometimes it can feel exciting, other times it's just disturbing and unpleasant. What is anger? Anger is a biochemical response to threat by the amygdala. It prepares us to fight or flee. However, it's not that easy nowadays. We have to be verbally assertive sometimes, and we can't always flee, and fighting would get us penalized in some way. We can have such reactions when driving, road rage, getting upset at work, and at home. So, our jobs can prime us for anger. Anger is something that we feel when others are involved. Someone you feel has let you down in some way. But anger is usually layers of things that have piled up, one by one, until the one straw that broke the camel's back hits us. Some people don't understand that they can be assertive without being angry. Some people will puff themselves up and try to demolish anyone that they believe has made them angry. Some people take on a scorched earth policy. Where weird that? That anyone who has made them angry is to be figuratively destroyed. Unfair treatment or being slighted hurts our egos. We may keep our anger in and try to passively sabotage the guilty party. Some people can go back and forth between angry and passive aggressive. It becomes a habit. It can become a reaction to any difficult situation. When it becomes consistent, then it is a problem. Your brain becomes wired that way. Then it becomes harder to think your way through a situation. So you just react. How angry we get depends on how personal the slight feels to us. Excuse me. If someone told you to get angry, you probably couldn't do it. Some actors can, if you're an actor, you have to learn how to come up with things that made you angry and use that. It can't just be summoned up for a normal person. But let that someone call you a liar, or lazy, or crazy, you'd soon feel that anger building up. Researchers have found that men and women feel anger equally. But we can be very different in how we express it. An angry woman loses status in the workplace. An angry man can be promoted for expressing it. It takes a lot more provocation, can't talk today, for women to break the gender norms and social training to show her anger. But they do let it out. But it causes them mental distress to do so. Their lower brain says snarl. Their nurturing side says make up and bond with the person. The part of the brain that controls fear is stronger in women because we are the carriers of the future generations. It behooves us to run. Anger is stronger in men. They are wired to protect their future. They are wired for aggression to do so. Their amygdala is larger than the women's to help them accomplish this. That's why they can be so direct in their hostility. That's why they're more aggressive. And that's why they can seem to revel in being mean. Because it accomplished what they wanted it to. In women, the prefrontal cortex is larger. It's the control center of the brain. That's why women prefer to work together and not be confrontational. So much for the idea that men are more logical. So, women feel like getting angry is counterproductive, even if they are angry. Women and men get angry equally. Women, however, feel like their anger is more intense and that the event that caused it should not have caused it to that degree. We see anger everywhere. It makes an impression on us. More than 60% of people admit to being angry on a daily basis. That's over half the population now. Most people say that they see angry outbursts at work. Both sexes say that an angry woman is more disturbing to see than an angry man. That's because socially we're trained not to be like that. Researchers say that could be why so many people dislike Hillary Clinton. She was outspoken before she ran for president. Republicans have always complained about her. They have labeled her an angry woman. Then say that her anger is over the top. They say it could be bad for America. It was even reported in a prominent newspaper. They said that the opposing side was demonizing Hillary for expressing her anger. They gave her characteristics of witches, harpies, and the like. They hurt her politically. So, she's in a tough spot. If she's not tough enough, she's seen as weak. No one wants a girly politician. If she's tough, then she's a witch or a shrew. The public can be equally as cruel. Politicians live in the public eye. Any emotion that they show, especially anger, is judged by millions. Even when they show control, they can be judged for not reacting strongly enough. But let an outburst occur, and it's big news. And sometimes strategists aim below the belt to elicit such outbursts. Unfortunately, there is still much sexism in the workplace today. Women are expected to be empathetic, caring and nurturing to other people. But when we break stereotype, look out. Women have lost their jobs for it. But not always. Empowered women are expected to be assertive. We are expected to stand firm and not give an inch, like the old male CEOs. But not to be too angry. Heaven forbid that we get and show that we are angry. So, for many women, it's a trap. Severe women are not well liked. Women can have a long and distinguished career, just like men. They can reach the top and become consultants, just like men. They can be sought out by the media, just like men. They can run their own firms, just like men. But they have to try harder to regulate their behavior. So, sometimes they feel like they have become fake and get burnt out. They can feel like they can't be themselves and succeed in the business world. Independent contractors can even feel like they are putting on a front for clients. It can cause them trouble. If you feel like a client is making a mistake that will cost them in the long run, do you just let them find that out for themselves? Or do you let them know that maybe they should rethink their approach? They may feel that you are too emotionally involved in the outcome if you try to steer them in another direction. But a good consultant often does just that. They may remind you who's in charge. Consultants are such for a reason. Sometimes the client doesn't understand that hiring an expert in that area, a guide to project to a good outcome, actually means that they should listen to their consultant. And then it's easy for the consultant to get angry. Some people feel that you lose credibility if you get mad. If you feel passionately about what you do and are dynamically involved in it, you are a good manager. But some people can view that as an emotional attachment, which makes them uncomfortable. The line between conviction and perceived aggression is thin, especially for women. In experiments conducted with college students, rating people based on videos on whether they would hire them, for what position, and how much should they be paid, women lost status when they appeared to be angry, while men gained status. The questions afterward found that 42% of the young men believed that anger was an effective management tool. Studies note that women are just as likely to criticize an angry woman. It doesn't appear to matter her status in the workplace. They rate the woman lower when she gets angry. When questioned about the angry displays, the woman's anger was almost always chalked up to internal reasons. They labeled her as an overall angry person. They labeled her as out of control. However, the same angry outburst in men was seen as being justified by the situation being viewed. People agreed that the work was shoddy or that the person reporting to them sucked. The only time women won over men was when they expressed sadness. No longer allowed for women. Sorry. Women are allowed to get angry. We are allowed to express anger as much as men are. It's a human prerogative. Angry women cry sometimes. Men can see tears and blubbering as immature and out of control. They don't realize it's a woman's go-to release of anger. The environment in a workplace can set the tone on how displays of anger are dealt with. A lot of workplaces allow men to freely express their anger, but not women. Or women are dealt with more harshly for expressing theirs. In a situation where you feel that you are being unfairly attacked, you're going to get angry. You need to be able to express your anger effectively with your words. This goes for women as well as men. If women push our anger down, tears usually come up. We're full from dealing with home and office issues. Being persecuted knocks us for a loop. Crying is not an act of aggression. Tears are a release of pent-up emotions and are more socially acceptable for women to display. It doesn't threaten anyone's perceived dominance. A boss understands that a woman is upset, and the woman didn't have to confront anyone. However, the tears can be ineffective if dismissed by the boss as just emotions. Neither side wins if you just sit there and cry. We have a right to be angry. If we don't express it, we feel lowered in status and have unresolved anger pent up in us. Women are unfortunately looked at as being of lower status by sexist men anyway. So, women are damned if they do, damned if they don't when it comes to expressing anger. Anger is effective only when expressed. If you lash out at someone who isn't involved in the problem, you feel worse. Men and women both feel anger equally. It is healthy for women to express it when they are angry, even if you've been taught not to. Being a good friend means that we are able to get angry, resolve it, and move on. Women are socially trained to want to bond more than to fight. Our own hormones guide us to the bond. When we are stressed out, we long for company. Anger is not usually an isolated event. It's usually a place, time, feeling event. It's usually our biology and culture that dictate it. The elements of what makes us angry is usually unique in any given situation. Got itchies. When someone screams at us, it's alarming. We may have to do some cathartic work to purge the event from our psyche. If we talk to our coworkers, we will probably find that we are not the only one to ever be screamed at by this person. Some people get angry anytime, with anyone. Some people yell in private, public, anywhere, at any time. For all we know, they yell at themselves in the mirror. They almost certainly have chronic anger. And if you heard our bell, that's all for today. Hope you found this educational and informational. So until next time.